It's popped up.
Yep. Now. Okay. I'm muted. Yep. Tuesday.
Yes.
Well, we don't know. I'll adjust it as we go. I was going to say, what about the camera? But you have no way to know that. I mean, it is what it is till we start. I won't be able to know.
Okay.
Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. We luckily learned from the Nebraska administrator. We apparently had a hot mic there for about 15 seconds, but we didn't say anything stupid. We're all good here.
We didn't say anything.
We said, well, I had a hunch. I was sitting there and I thought, you know what? I bet we don't have that muted right now. So
now that I look at it, we didn't.
Yeah, I just, in my head, I was going through and I went, you know what? I bet that's not the, our screen does not look right, Neil.
It doesn't? What does it look like?
We don't have the overlay in it at all. It's not.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I know how to do that. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. I'll wait on you as we're kind of talking.
All right.
People like your Peloton hat.
It is a cool hat. Trying to figure out how I get that.
It's not in the scene over there? The main 1-2 or the main 2 or whatever it's called?
Yeah, it says I'm in OEP main 2 right now.
Okay. Well, that's not good because we have a very weird-looking screen.
So it's lost the overlay?
It appears to have lost the overlay.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can do it here.
Okay. Hang with us for a minute. If you're in the stream, if you're in the podcast, you're just getting whatever you're getting right now from us. So,
you know what? I'll get us started, and I'm going to put myself on just one only, and I'll let you come over here and see if you can figure out how to get that there. You want to do that?
So you're going to come over here and talk?
No, I'm going to talk here. I'm going to let you. Well, that would make sense. Let's see. Everybody just hang with us. We told you as we started this was going to be a little weird, and it is. On overlays, it says we don't have any, and I know we do.
So it didn't save after the other day, in your opinion?
That's what I'm kind of wondering.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Without looking at it, really hard to tell. We can, however, just put the two of us in a screen for the moment. And
we can do that for a minute.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that for a minute.
Just add Mike. You want to do that? Or do I need to come do it real quick?
You're in.
No. Well, not yet. Okay. Remember, I'm on a delay on my screen. I can't see your screen, so we'll give it a second. We can sit here and let it just walk through, because I'm still getting just you by yourself.
Oh, you're still getting just me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're definitely on.
Yeah, not on our thing at all. There we go. Okay. But it's not lined up though. It's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not looking the way I would like for it to look. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. We'll figure it out in a minute. Yeah. So tell the people a little bit about Oxford Exxon.
Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You can get the Speed Pass Plus out. They will take care of you with that. You pay right there at the app. Don't have to go inside. Get on with your day as quickly as possible. That is all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. Also, they have the plastic sleeves to keep you as safe as possible as far as touching things. As you got it? You got it figured out?
I do. I figured it out.
Okay. So they will take care of you with the sleeves as well. You get the lunch specials for $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. There with, again, the Oxford Exxon. Today is Tuesday. You can get chicken spaghetti throughout the week, chicken and dumplings. so many different items there with the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. You call it. You ask for Corey Clark. You tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for, and he sends you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done several times now, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You will love the product. You will love the service, and you'll love everything about Clark Ford. Corey always says, I want to be your car guy. I want to be your truck guy. I'll prove it to you. And he does when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. The good news in Mississippi was that restaurant capacity was raised to 75%.
Oh, was it?
It was yesterday.
I didn't see that.
It has not been done in Oxford yet. I think there's a lot of hope on a lot of people's part that will happen. Whether it does or not, I don't know. But you can go to Rafters tonight. It's a big Tuesday night. There's a couple of NBA games, Game 7 of the Clippers-Nuggets, Game 1 of Heat-Celtics, Major League Baseball, and then, of course, we're getting ready for another weekend, thank goodness, of college and pro football, all of that. You can see on the screens at Rafters. Rafters on the Water will be open Wednesday through Sunday as well. So fun place for you to hang out there as well. And then Rafters in New Albany has opened. So a lot of places to check out all the great food, the great drink specials, great service at Rafters on the Square in Oxford.
So as we get started, we have had a media op since the last time we spoke to you. We were with you on Monday morning, now Tuesday afternoon. I was doing kind of work, sort of, yesterday afternoon. So, Neil, you handled the media op, mostly COVID-related as far as news. What do you got for people?
Yeah, it was mostly, I mean, look, you talked about this yesterday before the media op. If you ask Lane Kiffin a big picture question, you can get a big picture answer. If you ask him about personnel, you don't even get morsels. You get nothings. But the news out of that yesterday was that they did a round of COVID testing, and they had no positives. I have a couple of guys, he said, his words, a couple, so I don't know if that means 2 or 3 or whatever, who are in quarantine. But I don't remember the exact quote now. I wrote it in the story. He thinks they're in pretty good shape. You know, here, 12 days or so before the opener. And I guess it's 11 days now. 11 days before the opener, they're in pretty good shape from a COVID standpoint. So, look, the news came out later in the day about Texas Tech. And the numbers shocked some of our friends in the media.
Oh, they saw it as a catastrophe?
Yeah. Wolken's exact words, I wish I could find it.
I'll look. Go ahead while you're talking.
Wolken essentially paraphrased, said, this is just awful. And you're like, no, Dan, it's really not. It's really not awful. What it tells you is it's cycled through their program because that's what viruses do. And they're all recovered. I think 75 players have had it or have it. 69 have recovered, and 6 are still in some degree of protocol.
Well, he's kind of doing this again 2 hours ago. Dan says, quote, I don't really even know why we're giving him time, but whatever. That's what we're playing right now. It's amazing how quickly the football at any cost crowd has pivoted from giving the attaboy to programs that had few positives in the summer to giving the attaboy to programs that just didn't give a crap and let everyone catch it.
He's really struggling, isn't he? It's been a tough few days.
They played football on Saturday, and he didn't handle it
Did he ever tweet about football? He never did he?
Oh, I don't know.
I know he tweeted some tennis. I don't know that he tweeted any football. Not that it matters what he tweets. But when you're the lead national columnist covering college football for USA Today.
He quote tweeted Brody Miller, who said Orgeron says he believes most of the LSU football team has already caught COVID. So he says, quote, hopefully they don't catch it again. Dan just quote tweets it and says college football above it.
There are no documented cases of anybody catching it again.
He retweeted Nicole Auerbach, who said that the Big Ten, or the UW Chancellor, Rebecca Blank, said the Big Ten decided to postpone its season due to issues with availability of testing and contact tracing, plus the need to learn more about myocarditis. Once we have answers to those issues, we'll try to plan a delayed season, basically saying that the Big Ten did its due diligence and that they were the correct league as far as how to proceed from.
They didn't. That's why they're backtracking now with hot mics and Nebraska ADs or presidents. They didn't do it right. The SEC did it right. The ACC did it right. The American did it right. The Sun Belt did it right. That's really the greatest indictment of the Big Ten is the Sun Belt and Conference USA. Schools, programs that don't have the resources to do what they've done have done it. Frankly, a lot of credit goes to the Arkansas States and the Louisiana Monroes and the UABs of the world. They did it.
Yeah, he says, this is straight up horrible, was quote unquote. Referencing Texas Tech.
And it's straight up immunity. It also means that 76?
So it says, according to numbers released today, 75 players on the Texas Tech football team have tested positive for COVID-19. 69 have recovered and 6 cases are active. There are 123 players on the active roster.
So 76 players don't even have to be tested for 3
90
months.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 months, whatever.
Yeah. That's good. Isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Listen, I know there's this sense out there among some of these national people that no one cares about the players. Nothing could be further from the truth. I've covered a lot of college football programs and college basketball programs and some college baseball programs. I've never run into a program where I felt like they did not care about the kids. I've never met an AD who I thought cared nothing about the well-being of the student athletes on his or her campus.
Of course.
Have you?
No.
I mean, I've covered some coaches who were hard asses. But on every one of those coaching staffs, there were a couple of assistants that were more player friendly. Every single time. The myth, and the national media guys that are doing this and women that are doing this, they know better. That's the part that blows me away. They either know better or they should know better. They have a level of access that you and I don't have. That's the amazing thing is that Dan Wolken, well, maybe not after this. Christine Brennan, maybe not after this. Some of those people could get on the phone and because of the publications that they've worked for, could get the one-on-one with Lane Kiffin that we can't get. I don't mean just Lane Kiffin. I mean Ed Orgeron or anybody else.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's the lead national guy for USA Today is going to be able to get Lincoln Riley on the phone. If you and I call to get Lincoln Riley on the phone, we've got about a 0.0001% chance. You're right. I don't know why I give him the time of day.
It's fine.
It's my fault.
He quote tweeted one of the Ohio State fan blogs or whatever and said, or what if Big Ten presidents are trying to carefully and thoughtfully process all the information they've received before they make a very big decision? So said that. He likes talking about players who have opted out from the NFL draft. He likes that.
Yeah, he likes that. Yeah.
That's a good topic for him. Let's see.
It's really been a struggle.
He did quote tweet somebody who hit an 11-team parlay over the weekend. That's kind of impressive.
Oh, that is impressive.
Somebody bet $10 and won $152,341.28.
Heard about a guy who won $40,000. He bet $500 that Tom Brady would score the first touchdown of the Buccaneers season. Not a pass, that Tom Brady would score it. And so he won $40,000. It was like 8-1 or 80-1 or something.
Yeah. Had more than 8-1, you would think.
It was 80-1.
Because you get every player plus not a pass. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah, 80-1 sounds more realistic. Yeah, this guy hit Georgia Tech money line, Arkansas State money line, App State under, North Carolina under, Iowa State under, Yankees money line, Army under, Duke plus 20.5, UT San Antonio money line, Rockets Lakers under, Coastal Carolina money line.
That's impressive.
Now that's a day.
That's a day. Wow. I mean, you're going all over the place. NBA.
We got, like I said, we got the Arkansas State upset in that. I mean, we got all kind of stuff here. It's
nailed a couple of impressive unders. Then you mix in some NBA and some Major League Baseball. I mean, bravo, sir.
Well, and you felt great about it because the last game of the day to put you in to win the money was Coastal Kansas, and Coastal was beating the hell out of Kansas. So I mean, it was popping champagne time.
Yeah, because you sit back on that and you're like,
they're up 21-0 or something. Went ball game.
This thing's gonna win.
Because like you start the day and it's like, okay, whatever, Joe. Okay, whatever.
You're having some fun.
You've never been more nervous about a baseball game in your life.
Yeah.
Yankees money line. I mean, because that's no better than 60% chance of winning that, no matter what.
Sure. Yeah, because the best teams in baseball win about 60% of the time.
Yeah. So that's the one where you go, hey. And then a Rockets-Lakers playoff game under. That's tough. I know more. I guess a little more intensity.
And when you do the Rockets, because the Rockets sometimes will lose games where they score 125 points.
Yeah, that's impressive. I'll be with him there. That's pretty good.
No, that's solid.
Yeah, I got no issue there. Let's see. But yeah, otherwise not much. A lot of tennis.
Yeah.
A lot of tennis.
Now, in fairness to him, he's a consistent tennis guy.
He is. He's a
I'll give him that one.
Yeah.
All right, so
anyway,
I missed it today. I'll take you through my day. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. And at about 4:20, I said, screw this, I'm getting up. I knew I had stuff to do. And I got up, I worked on my mailbag, I set up picks for the week, that's in the system. Did my stuff around the house to help get ready, walked the dogs, came back, did 2 podcasts. I've worked on a story. I had to go to Blue Delta Jeans for something that you had to do also. So I've had a full day. I've missed the Nebraska thing other than to hear that it happened. Can you tell me what happened with Nebraska and the hot mic? What's that about?
Yeah, so I could probably find a story on it, but essentially their president was on a radio show or doing something today, I don't know what, and he just made mention offhand that the Big Ten was going to announce tonight that they were going to have a season. However, it was completely not supposed to be public or whatever. He had a hot mic in front of him. So congratulations, Big Ten. You've had that entire offseason, and that is how you announce your plans today, is the Nebraska president talks into a hot mic.
That's great.
Although here's your conspiracy theory. It's Nebraska. He knew that mic was on.
Well, if that's the case, then hey, props to you, buddy. Because
on,
that's turning the screws on your colleagues.
Nebraska care?
Oh, no.
They're threatening to sue the league.
They should sue the league.
Yeah. I think he knew the mic was on. That's my hot take for the day.
I mean, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I know nothing else. So somebody might go, no, not possible.
It's hard for me to put it in context.
He was misquoted. Okay, help me out in the thread. If we missed something, help us out.
Yeah, Avery was apparently listening.
Nebraska looking for a while we're doing this, where are we at on the recorder? That's the only thing. I kind of miss having time in front of me.
16:32.
Okay, so we're good. Spend a couple minutes while I'm looking for this. Somebody asked in the thread, and we only did this on Saturday's show, and the audio got all screwed up on Saturday because of the calls and the issue. Give people a rundown of what our game days are going to look like while I'm doing this.
Yeah. So the plan, Avery said she was kidding.
I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. The plan is we are going to do a pregame show. It has a couple of sponsors already. A pregame show 2 hours before every Ole Miss kickoff. So for the opener, we'll get started bright and early at 9 a.m. Maybe bust out some mimosas or something. I don't know. We'll have a 9 a.m. show. We'll go to 11. That's going to be for those of you who kind of want a fairly serious football-oriented pregame show, I think you'll like it. That's what we're going to do. Ryan Brown of WJOX is going to join us every week. I think Jeffrey will join us every week. We're going to get writers that cover other teams on the show every week. We'll go till just before kickoff. Then, obviously, we've got the TV in here. I don't know if you even noticed it, Chase. I got it mounted.
I didn't even look at it yet.
So we can see it now. I got the TV on in here. We're going to turn to the Ole Miss game, and we'll probably stop the pregame feed, start a new feed, and we'll watch the game with you. We'll comment in the stream, and we'll talk about it, and might even take a few calls here and there. We're not really, as Chase said Saturday night, He's exactly right. I don't know that we're exactly sure what that will look like. We've got some things that we're working on, and then we'll, during commercial breaks, we'll flip around to other games. We'll keep an eye on different things and just kind of go from there. And then when the Ole Miss game ends, we'll get into hand raise, guys.
Pretty quickly now, because we don't have the type of delay that we typically would. And then 2, you guys don't. A lot of you won't be at the game. The stadium experience will be different. So, typically we waited 45 minutes, an hour 15 to start the postgame. We'll go pretty quickly right into it. Frankly, might even kind of start it toward the end of the game if it's not close.
It's probably what we'll do. Haley will be here. We might have like a 30-minute period where she's in here with Chase, and they do the show while I'm kind of finishing up a column. Still going to bring content to you. I'll get on the Ole Miss Zoom call with Lane Kiffin and whoever else they give us. I think it's just going to be Kiffin and some players. Everything is virtual this year. Post game, there's no post game in the media room or any of that stuff. So we'll get that. I've got somebody that's going to transcribe that. We'll bring a content item to you that has all the quotes from Kiffin, from players. Ole Miss will make that video available as well. So you'll get all the stuff that you would otherwise get, but we'll be with you pretty much all day. So it ought to be interesting. So we'll do it's kind of a recap, a 2-hour pregame show that'll be football, pretty serious. Then we'll be with you for the game. However the game plays out, that will be interesting. Whether it's close or
like I said, it probably won't be very direct. It'll probably be a very indirect portion of the day. I mean, we're going to be watching, flipping. Yeah. We've got some ideas for how we're going to do food. I mean, there's stuff here. We're just kind of hanging out.
It won't be a show per se.
Yeah. We seriously might sit here for 3 or 4 minutes with no talking. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
and then we'll do hand raise, guys, which is last year it was our therapy show. We've talked about this.
The only win we did was New Mexico State.
We did nothing but losses. There was a few times that it felt like it was Groundhog Saturday. And I can't imagine what it felt like for fans who were suffering through it.
It was the same show like Auburn, Missouri, A&M.
Yeah.
It was just like kind of close, sort of. And then we had the LSU thing because of all the points scored. And then the Egg Bowl, good God, all of us. I mean, it is what it is. But, I mean, if we'd only known what was coming in a week when we did the Egg Bowl show. But
we didn't.
The only happy one we've done is Lane Kiffin hire night.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's it. Everything else has been fairly, please.
We did that on a Saturday. They hired him on Friday, made it official. We did the show on Saturday.
Night. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because something was on. We were watching SEC championship game.
That would make sense. And then maybe the Big Ten.
Yeah, whatever championship stuff was on, I feel like we were watching. So, yeah, that's our plan. I'll get into the Nebraska thing in a second, give you guys the exact details of what happened. Before we do, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, SoDo County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and much more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by the law firm of Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen's the only firm in Mississippi that's made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into that experience by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. We are also brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors. She sponsors my mailbag, which will be up tomorrow. A lot of really interesting questions this week. Serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB. Right here in Oxford, when you deposit money at OUB, they put all of that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits right back into the Oxford community. OUB also home to Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. And with Kasasa, you get 2.5% interest on your balances up to $50,000, and ATM fees are refunded no matter where you do them nationwide. OUB also offers online bill pay, mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
So the Nebraska thing, I'll get the gist pretty right here. It says, where's it at? There we go. While Wisconsin Chancellor, sorry, it wasn't Washington, it was Wisconsin. That was dumb on my part. While Wisconsin Chancellor Rebecca Blank was tight-lipped about the Big Ten's rumored plans for the return of football during a name, image, and likeness hearing on Capitol Hill, Nebraska President Ted Carter may have spilled the beans. Carter, ahead of a news conference Tuesday morning in Lincoln, Nebraska, was called on a podium hot mic by KETV, saying there would be some sort of announcement surrounding Big Ten football later on Tuesday. Quote, "We're getting ready to announce the Huskers and Big Ten football tonight," Carter said to Bob Henson, the director of the National Strategic Research Institute, which has a deal with the University of Nebraska. Soon after, Carter added the decision was a good move in the right direction, according to the Omaha World-Herald. So he was giving a press conference, and the mic was hot as he was behind the podium. That's his own fault. He knew the mic was on.
Yeah, he knew the mic was on.
It's a press conference. The mic is never off.
No.
At a lectern.
He knew that was on. He was applying pressure to the 2 or 3 stragglers in the Big 12, Big 10 meetings.
Saying,
kudos to him.
Yeah. Radio show may be okay. Lectern, he knew it was on. No, not even a doubt.
See, whenever I do a radio show, they'll put you on hold for a minute and a half.
You don't talk.
I'm quiet.
The music's playing in our ears, and we're hearing the commercials or whatever it is we're hearing.
I don't say
no, because you don't get that, so you get pipe, though.
Yeah.
You're just getting silence. Yeah,
I just know that if I'm talking, someone can hear me. Having done radio enough to know that that's the case.
Yeah. Ted knew what was up.
Good for him. That's pretty smart on his part. Because 2 or 3, according to the reports I've heard.
Whom are they?
Rutgers, Northwestern, Illinois.
Is that a state of Illinois thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I think all of this is state governors.
Okay.
Like Michigan and Michigan State want to play football. I promise you.
Gretchen Whitmer does not want to play football.
Gretchen Whitmer does not want them to play football. High school football is not being played.
Oh, Michigan's not playing high school football at all?
No.
Okay.
Minnesota's not playing high school football.
No, I saw the map of whom was playing, and it looked fairly electoral last week because they had not playing this week, but playing and then not playing at all. I believe with the 3 categories to that. So yeah.
Zach sent me something. I'll have to look at it later. Zach, if you're listening, I'll look at it in a second. I asked you this yesterday. You've had a day to think about it. What's the Big Ten spin today?
We were thorough. Yeah, it's a free space on what their actual spin is. We got fed some inaccurate reports. We were waiting. We were thorough. We care about our student athletes. We deem now that it is safe to play, and we're going to proceed accordingly. We're going to be careful, but we're going to jump into the fray. No. We're the teddy bear league. We protect our people.
Will anyone ask to the point where they push to get an answer about the role that governors played?
My guess is that is not asked. I do not believe that will be a national media members column tomorrow.
You think they're going to get praised?
I think it's going to be 80% praise.
Because my column...
There'll be some people on the other side, sure.
My column would be, if I were a national writer, and of course it'd probably get me fired, my column would be, ultimately you did the right thing, good for you, but let's admit what this was. This was a political gambit that went wrong. This was the action of a league run by governors and run by people that this was political, and it's... You'll never convince me that the people at Ohio State running their athletic department didn't want to play football this year. That we could talk from now, we could be on the air now until New Year's Day, and you could never convince me of it. So that was a political thing. the Big Ten believed that they would lead the way, shut football down, play in the spring or whatever the hell that was going to be. Although I never believed that. I never once, and we're seeing it now, I never once believed that playing in the spring was really an option. That was a lie. That was a lie that was told to satiate some fans.
It was the perfect can kicking because you just stopped for a while.
But it was a lie. It was a lie that was told to give you enough cover to not allow players to transfer.
Sure.
And it was a lie that was told to tell fans when fans pushed back, look, we're going to play. You're not going to miss the games. Although if you talk to anybody who lives up there, they'll tell you it's not possible to play a football season in January, February, and March in Minnesota, in Wisconsin, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in New York. It's not doable. It's not safe. It would be miserable for fans. It was a lie. They thought everyone would follow. They got their bluff called. And so now we find out, here's what you'll find out for people who are interested in media stuff. You're going to find out who the water carriers are. Because if I've been carrying their water, I'd drop my bucket today and go, hey, y'all are on your own. I'm done. I'm done. Never again.
Okay, here's the problem a little bit, though. And maybe I'm missing some, and maybe the people in the live stream go, no, you're missing so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. But from a media standpoint, I don't want to say even formulates opinion, even though I do believe that's right for the majority of college football fans. Because frankly, give credit here. Our listeners, subscribers to team sites, that kind of, they're the more knowledgeable college sports fans out there, other than the people that just watch sports and hey, whatever. The other people are more easily manipulated by content, in my opinion. But when you look at it, who are the people who dictate the opinion? Thamel, 40, Wolken,
for sure.
Wetzel, Dellinger, Staples,
Auerbach,
sure,
Nicole.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there may 1, 2, 3, sure, more other that I'm not thinking of, but for the most part, that's the
Barrett
list.
Salee in the South.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's the list. How many of those are going to praise the Big Ten tomorrow? Most of them. I can't think of one of that group that is for sure going to give even a little bit of pop back to the Big Ten tomorrow. If I'm wrong, I mean, maybe Staples. We'll see. But
Staples might. Andy might get them a little bit.
That's it.
Feldman might tweak them, but it'll be very subtle.
I like Bruce, but he's not ruffling feathers.
No.
Did you get a copy of his book, by the way?
I did not.
I got an email from LSU asking about like a media copy of his book.
Really?
The other day. Yeah.
You guys are tighter than I am. I don't really know
him.
Well,
used to be. I haven't talked to Bruce in a long time, but
Brett McMurphy's a national guy.
But he's lost some exposure because of stadium. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Somebody said in the thread, that's a lot of water carriers.
It's a lot of water to carry, too.
Because Ross even went freak out mode this week. I mean,
what do you think happened there? You think his bosses?
The story wasn't poor, except for two things. One, a lot of statistics were frankly wrong. And now I get that COVID statistics in general are all over the place and whatever, but just from an Ole Miss, Mississippi perspective, those statistics weren't necessarily accurate. And then the other thing, too.
Yeah, that was really hyperbolic to lead with Oxford right there.
Well, here's the other thing, too. That they're all basing it off that, I was telling a friend this morning, they're all basing it off that Washington Post or New York Times thing where it had the per capita cases per whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing was. And Oxford got up to like number 3, maybe, number 2, number 4, I don't know.
I think we made it to number 1.
Oh, did they really?
I think so.
Okay, with a bullet.
Yeah.
So here's one of my issues with this is a couple different things. A, they don't separate out campuses, cities, and counties, okay? Whatever that number is, it's just the county. But they list Oxford because if you said, hey, Lafayette County, Mississippi, nobody knows where the hell that is. You know what I mean? But hey, it's Oxford or it's Ole Miss. Okay, that's great. But here's where it was a flawed statistic. Now, it's flawed in two ways. A, for the most part, if you're really trying to go, hey, this is a case and you think cases matter, if you're a person that does, most of the kids aren't getting tested. Most of the kids are going, nope, I'm not doing with that. I'm staying, I'm asymptomatic or whatever. I'm going to hunker down. I'm not doing this or whatever, so we're not going to play that game. Here's the other part of this, though. You can't do a real per capita evaluation because it's a very flawed stat, and here's why. Hey, this is how many cases you got, and here's the population of Oxford. The students are here. You're not adding the student enrollment to the population. So suddenly, that's another 20,000 kids. Or now there's not 20 because Ole Miss is dead. I mean, there's nobody on campus. But say it's 8,000 for the heck of it.
And that's why it's all college towns that are listed. Yes.
They're adding cases and people, but they're not adding people to the numerator and the denominator. They're just adding people to the numerator.
Well, that does change the math.
Well, per capita wise, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's this many cases out of 18,000 or this many cases out of 42,000.
Those are different numbers.
Yeah, not even saying your numbers are good, but your numbers sure as hell ain't as bad. I mean, that's my point. Like, yeah, it's Georgia and it's Ole Miss. And it's let's add to that one too.
But if you read that story, okay, we'll do my Dubuque, Iowa thing. We haven't been to Dubuque in a while. If you're in Dubuque, Iowa, and you read that story, you're like, boy, it must be a mess down there.
Yeah.
It must just be, COVID must just be eating them up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not the case. Frankly, Oxford feels more open today than it's ever felt.
Things feel fairly normal right now. Normal-ish.
Normal-ish.
Yeah.
I tell you, here's what's weird, and I don't like doing this because it kind of brings me down a little bit, if I'm honest.
Okay.
This was supposed to be the Tuesday of Alabama week.
Yeah.
There was a chance if Ole Miss beats Baylor.
Yeah.
They would have beaten Southeast Missouri. I'm going to give them that one.
Because of the names and the people. And
that this would have been
chaos.
Game day.
Yeah, just chaos.
Huge game.
I mean, look, this town's not normal by any stretch of imagination from that standpoint. No. I mean, we had callers on Saturday going, do we even come for the game? What do the restaurants look like? What does this look like? I mean, I know people who have never been a problem in the world in the past that now aren't selling their condos that are Airbnbs for game weekends.
Yeah.
That they're just empty. And you're already getting, a third of the price than you would on a normal just because of schedule changes, different things. Because somebody, maybe for a year said, hey, we're going to come for the Florida game. Well, that was October 17th. Now it's this day. Well, we can't come this day now. Yeah. And it all gets screwed up.
They were coming in, and now that game's in Arkansas now.
The secondary real estate, and I don't mean like even vacation home. I mean Airbnb, condo, tourism that this place count on. It's a shell of itself right now. Mm-hmm. Just not even close. I mean, so no, all that stuff is still getting hammered from all those standpoints.
Like I told you, I've talked to several business owners who've basically told me their percentages, not numbers.
Sure,
it's break even stuff. If that. It's controlling bleeding at a time of year that this should be, we always do the money tree. Mm-hmm. I always make the joke when I'm ahead, it's flush with foliage. This is the time of the year that this should be flush with foliage, and it's not. I mean, there's a leaf or two on the tree, but it's pretty bare.
Yeah, and it's what we talked about a little bit. We've said this before. It's the time of year where it's not all adding up because even in March, we sort of had a 5-month summer. You can mentally, hey, it's March, it's April, it's May, it's going to be all right, let's get to whatever. But when those numbers don't pick up now, everybody's mind flipped. No, it's football season. Hey, school is, whatever it looks like, school is in session. All these things are going on, but the economy is not matching it. The tourism market in this town at this point is not matching it. So what was the Giants?
10-point game?
Was it 10?
Yeah.
Okay, they covered. Steelers covered.
Steelers covered.
Okay, that was my question. Yeah. That was more what I was worrying about.
What did you think of that? You were thinking about picks.
Yeah, I was thinking about picks. Well, because I don't get NFL games right. I swept all the college games and then missed all the NFL games.
You and I are one game behind Jeffrey.
Are we?
And Zach is several games behind Jeffrey.
He floundered week one.
That's a nice way of putting it. He floundered.
We should have faded him. No offense.
Yes.
I'm making a joke.
We should have faded Zach Berry.
Hey, I need apparel items for like 12 months. Don't worry, we might get you in on this here a little bit. All right.
Jeffrey did a good job. Jeffrey had a good week. I think he went 5-2 against the spread. You and I went 4-3. Yeah, we're fine.
That's making money. $100 a game. That's $70 on the week. But
we were fine. Yeah, it was 26-16 Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. That's a cover. Giants aren't good.
It was fine. No,
they're bad. They're bad at the football.
Well, I said this on SEC and beyond, SEC football and beyond this morning. If you're Eli Manning last night, I assume Eli turned on the TV.
You watched it, of course.
Probably had a glass of cab. Sitting there on the couch as he watched Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley run for their lives.
And you know what?
He had to think, yeah, maybe I miss football, but I don't miss that football. I'm going to guess that there were moments in that game that he thought, thank God.
They've given him no chance. I mean, they gave him no chance for years. Now they're giving Daniel Jones no chance.
Yeah. I saw people just completely writing off Daniel Jones.
Is it Gettleman now? Isn't he the GM of the Giants?
Yeah. People writing off Jones. And look, he looks bad. But I'm not sure who looks good in that offense. I mean, I even wonder if you put Patrick Mahomes in that offense, it would be better than what they are.
The perfect guy might be Deshaun Watson because he just doesn't stay in the pocket anyway. So just take it and run around.
I mean,
because Mahomes does at least move inside the pocket for the most part.
I mean, I joked about Trubisky.
Yeah.
They actually would be wise to go get a Trubisky in that scenario. Somebody who can move.
Yeah, Eli would be getting just KO'd.
No.
I mean, be getting kill shotted over and over and over again.
I think he would have had to be. He would have had to look at the landscape and think this is opt-out. It works out perfect. Like most things in his life,
it worked out.
It worked out perfectly. The timing was just sort of there.
And yeah, he gets to retire and be Mr. Giant the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely.
Team player, his Twitter profile is like once a Giant, always a Giant, forever a Giant, or only a Giant, something like that. Yeah.
And he's beloved up there.
Yeah. Well,
now
Super Bowl winner.
Yeah. Because now you don't have Sundays to criticize.
He's the most important quarterback in Giants history.
Absolutely. Not even close.
I mean, he's by far more than
Phil
Sims or the Jeff Hostetler. I mean, that kind of thing.
The only one that's even in the ballpark with him is Sims.
Yeah.
Sims had a hell of a career.
Yeah, of course.
But he didn't have the kind of storybook.
Wasn't Hostetler wasn't he the quarterback in the second Super Bowl when they beat the Bills?
The Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that one. Super Bowl 25, Bills and
because it was like Sims had gotten hurt, right? Hostetler filled in.
Yeah, because they beat the 49ers in the NFC title game, and then because that was like Anderson was the running back, and they had that big drive right before Scott Norwood missed the kick.
Yeah.
The Giants had the ball forever and went down and had the drive, and then Norwood missed the kick.
That's one of those great what ifs.
And
what if Scott Norwood makes the kick? Everything changes.
In all-time sports, feel bad for a dude. Scott Norwood might be top 5. Because of everything he changes, if he just makes that stupid kick.
Because he had a hell of a career.
Yeah, but he lost 3 Super Bowls in a row, and that was the only one that really was winnable.
They
got popped by Washington and Dallas.
But those were subsequent. The Giants.
Was it the first one?
I think that was the first one.
Okay.
The question here
That's the first Super Bowl I really remember.
Really?
Yeah, Super Bowl 25 is the first one that I have like a really good recollection of. January 27th, 91, so I was 7 years old.
Okay. The first Super Bowl I remember well, was it Super Bowl 11, Vikings-Raiders? Is that right?
No clue.
Whichever one was the Vikings and the Raiders, it was at the Rose Bowl, and I can remember watching it and my dad telling me about Fran Tarkenton and Ken Stabler.
Okay.
I vaguely remember that game.
In 1991, the cost of a 30-second commercial was $800,000.
That would buy you about a 0.8 second.
That's a lot of coin, though, in 91. Yeah, looking at it here.
While you're looking that up, the question was, does Eli get mentioned in the same sentence as Connerly? The thing is, there's
the eras are so different.
Exactly. They're from such different generations that
they're almost kind of just number one next to one another. I can't even really play the game. Just put them both up there and call it a day.
To the people that were in Connerly's era, no.
Yes, do.
And the people that
in a lot of ways, it's Archie versus Eli, or Archie versus Chad Kelly, or whomever you want to have that conversation with. Because you look at Archie's stats and you go, I mean, you look at it and you go, well, I mean, crap. The second team guy had that now, but the era was so different.
Totally different game.
Yeah, you can't even do that. I mean, come on. Like, Scott Norwood, actually, I didn't realize this. He only played one more season.
Oh, he really struggled with it. It consumed parts of his life for a while.
He was an NFL player in 82, and then he played for the Birmingham Stallions in 83 and 84. of the USFL, and then 85-91 with the Bills. So yeah, I mean after the Bills waived him, Norwood initially returned home to Northern Virginia and disappeared completely from the public eye for a number of years, eventually becoming an insurance salesman through the 1990s before returning to Buffalo as a real estate agent in 1992.
Just having your life defined by 4 seconds. That would suck.
Or did he even play the next year? Was that it?
I don't know. I've read a big story about him once, but I can't remember the details.
Yeah, he remained with them, but he didn't kick. The Bills, or if he did, he didn't kick much. No, I'm sorry. Never mind. Norwood was perfect through the next postseason, including a 44-yard field goal that served as a decisive margin against the Denver Broncos in the AFC title game. Then he was waived as the first roster move of that offseason. The Bills signed Steve Christie of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at that point. So, yeah, he had one more season after that. So, anyway.
I'll tell you that the podcast is brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about travel this fall, there's a lot of deals out there. John's sent me some of those. If you're looking to get away, and a lot of the resorts, the deals are incredible. So all you do is get in touch with John. You give him some parameters. You give him a budget. He'll give you options. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We taped a Mind on My Money earlier today. That'll be to you probably sometime tomorrow. It is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi, but they have clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINN-trust.com. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. And Rebel fans, we're just a couple of weeks, less than that now, away from the first Ole Miss football game of 2020. Our friends at Blue Delta Jeans want you to know they are here for your game day needs. Both Chase and I saw our friend Blake Kokenauer today at Blue Delta. So whether you're one of the lucky few to get into Vaught Hemingway this season, or if you plan to watch the game at home with a few socially distanced friends, a new pair of Blue Delta jeans are just what you need to look great and feel comfortable on Saturdays. Their new line of 4-way stretch cotton pants come in 12 colors, including a great new powder blue for the Ole Miss fans. So drop by the Oxford studio, DM Blue Delta Jeans at BlueDeltaJeans.com on their social media, or info info at BlueDeltaJeans.com for more information. And remember, just because you won't be in the Grove this year doesn't mean you don't need to look your best for game day.
Podcast is brought to you by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. Take advantage of the immune support med packs. Develop combinations of vitamins and supplements designed to boost your immune system and lung health, including a 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3, which all work together for your immune system, GI regulation, immune regulation, and more. You can find out more at Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs, G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar in Oxford. Again, that number, 662-236-2222.
So, I'm trying to think what else was in Kiffin's deal. We talked to Jalen Cunningham. I'll have that story up in a bit. The gist of it is that he's dropped 60 pounds.
Yeah,
which he needed to. He looked better in the Zoom. I actually think they have a chance to be pretty good up front. Just they got to be healthy.
They have 7 or 8 guys that are okay.
Yeah. And then we talked to Ja'Cory Hawkins. That's up at rebelgrove.com. It's on the message board. I just put it as a YouTube. There wasn't a lot there. Kiffin.
No update on Otis Reese.
No update on Otis Reese.
Leonard got cleared.
Cleared by the NCAA. Still has to get cleared by the SEC. I sensed that was a formality.
Surely.
I would think. That probably literally is some paperwork.
Yeah.
Getting cleared by the NCAA was the biggest thing. I just don't feel good about the Otis Reese thing. I don't feel good about the Cade Mays thing. I just think it's an intra-league. Mm-hmm. People, and I usually tell them, I think you're wrong. People tell you, they'll do the thing that the league protects the blue bloods. And I generally don't agree. In this case, I do think they're listening to a couple of big voices.
Do you really?
I do. Okay. Could be wrong, but it's what I think.
What's more impressive here? So I had this up. I sent you one of these a couple days ago. I just saw another one today. It was on our message board. We'll bring both of them up. By the way, I know we have a subject line, but I think I'm bumping that till tomorrow as a topic for a couple different reasons that I'll tell you later, but it's fine.
Okay.
No big deal. We got plenty of time. We'll be with you all week, so whatever day we get around to talking about fans in the seats, we'll talk about fans in the seats. But I'm not doing that right now. So,
okay.
What's more impressive? You've run how many marathons? 4, 5?
I've run 4 marathons. 5
is a much better number. I know it's arbitrary, but it really is.
And I desperately want to run
5
the 5th
feels
one.
better.
I just can't. I thought this summer I was on the right path to getting back into that spot for a year from now, and maybe I still can. But I did something to my knee that.
And I know this is a huge debate on the message board, but you have no desire to do some 150-mile bike race or something, do you?
No.
Century rides are not your thing.
No, I mean,
from a mileage standpoint, I know it's on a Peloton, but what's the farthest you've gone
in a day?
Whatever, I don't know. You can tell me.
50 miles probably.
50?
Yeah.
Okay, how long does that take?
So on a typical, let's see, I'll pull up because I'm curious now that you ask. My daily unpaid Peloton spot. So yesterday I did Alex Toussaint's 45-minute ride. Okay. In 45 minutes, I went 14.72 miles.
Okay.
I'm seeing how consistent that was. I did a 30-minute ride yesterday. It was 9.28 miles. So, yeah, in an hour, I'm probably 18 miles.
Okay. Just curious.
So there was a day that I did, it was probably close to 3 hours of Peloton. So it was 50-some-odd miles.
Okay. So apparently the world record was set last Friday morning. 34-year-old Aaron Yoder ran down a stretch of road near Marquette, Kansas, to hit his latest goal. He finished 1 mile in a little less than 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
He intentionally chose a road with no potholes and little car traffic because he couldn't see where he was running. He did it backwards. 5:54 running backwards, new world record. So he was backpedaling 1 mile in 5 minutes and 53 and some change seconds. Is that more impressive that in somewhere, I saw it the other day, I sent it to you, 4 minutes and 58 second mile dribbling a basketball?
Ooh.
5:53 backwards, 4:58 dribbling, both world records.
With no miscue.
Well, I mean, I guess you could fall, but you got to pick it back up. Yeah, I mean, you're not taking off and you're not traveling, if you will. It's not the NBA.
I think backwards is more impressive. Both are impressive.
Okay, 55 seconds quicker on the dribbling.
Yeah, but you're going forwards.
I know.
And if you're a really good,
but one screw up and you're done.
Yeah, but if you're a really good dribbler, you don't even look at the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I would be curious to see what a Russell Westbrook or something.
And I'm guessing that the way they're dribbling, it's not like a tight dribble.
You got to be like,
yeah, you're dribbling out in front of you because you're running to it. Backwards.
5:53.
You can't see where you're going.
That was his old record. New one's 5:30. Okay, so even better. 5:30.
That's crazy.
Backwards. I can't even.
No.
Can't even comprehend it.
Even if you told me it's perfectly flat, there's no potholes, no nothing, no curves, straight as an arrow, 1 mile, it would take a long time to get to that place.
By the way, Scott Norwood, when he retired, was the Bills' all-time leading scorer, having passed O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, so say he had a hell of a career. defined by one kick. If he makes that kick, he's a legend.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Never papered in the buffalo wing his entire life. I mean,
missed that kick by what, about a foot, 2 feet?
It was close.
Always thinks that's so unfair. It's in a lot of ways. And Luke Logan got bailed out a little because all the attention was on Elijah.
Well, because the normal Ole Miss fan goes, knowing what I know now, I'm glad we lost.
Well, that's true.
They're literally almost going, hey, thank you.
Yeah, because if he makes that kick.
I mean.
Let's do it for fun, because I'm curious. Let's do it for fun.
Okay.
Because we would not be having fun right now.
No, that's my point.
If he makes that kick, even if Ole Miss loses in overtime, was the damage done by Elijah that would have gotten
I do
Luke
think
fired?
A large, considerable amount of the damage was done by Elijah. Yes, I do believe that. I believe there was a controlling your players, embarrassment, program standard that faltered there that played in the decision. Yes, I do.
I'm told that someone in the coach's box at that moment said we all just got fired.
When Elijah did the
Yes. Before the kick. Love to know if that's true.
If they went, so you think under this stipulation, it's possible that Matt is retained even if they lose the game.
Oh, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for the kick on YouTube the other day because I was putting it in the story I was writing about Luke.
Sure.
You watch that drive? The drive?
Well, there was that long pass.
There's a 4th and 25 where for whatever reason, a state DB
just let him behind him.
Just blew the coverage.
Yeah.
They clearly miscommunicated on the coverage. If that play ends like most 4th and 25, and I'm sorry, Ole Miss fans, I know 4th and 25 is
a hot button number.
I get it. But if
4th and long, okay,
4th and 20 plus, if that play ends like most 4th and 20 plus plays end, I think Matt Luke's still the coach at Ole Miss today. The drive ends, State runs out the clock, and Ole Miss loses 20-14.
Rich Rod was the coach, and he actually repeated it later as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think if Ole Miss just comes up empty on that drive in a traditional way, I think Matt Luke's still the coach at Ole Miss today.
Above all else, just for you, our sanity, meaning you and I, the number of people going, oh my God, it's another season where it doesn't count, would be so suffocating on covering a season that I can't, because we've already been fighting about interim years and first years and when this happens and when this happens. And oh my God. I mean, I can't.
Well, you know what Matt Browning says? So, Neil, let's say OKC wins that Game 6. Carson and I had this conversation just yesterday in the car.
What are we talking about?
Remember the Klay Thompson game, Game 6?
Yeah.
2016?
Yeah.
Thunder up 9 in the fourth quarter, and then Klay Thompson just goes unconscious?
Yeah.
The answer to that question is the Thunder probably win a title. Durant probably re-signs. They do the Ibaka trade for Victor Oladipo. They sign Al Horford, and they are the odds-on favorite to repeat. That's the answer to what happens.
The Luke thing.
It's why what-ifs are fun.
Well, Drew says it here, and I think he's right, which means Luke is the head coach next season.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Because you're not finding him this year.
Well, they wouldn't have the money to fire him.
So
it would be.
Oh God.
It would be. Morale would be at a historic low unless they won, and this is where you get into the debate about were they on their path to winning.
I mean, way lower than even we saw in 11. I mean, nothing to even relate it to during our tenure.
Because here's the truth. This staff doesn't think that staff was on its path to winning. They won't say that out loud, of course, but I can tell you.
Well, they didn't agree with the way recruiting was going, literally from a systematic standpoint.
Yeah, they shook it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll find out if you're right or not. The great thing about sports is that you will find out. It's a scoreboard business.
At the end of the day, yeah.
I mean, we'll get the answer. Are they? People go, "What do you think Kiffin's going to do?" I'm like, I don't know. Wait a year, we'll start to see.
I mean, can you imagine, just from a morale standpoint, I mean, this is nothing against Matt or anybody else, but just keeping that staff, and then, I mean, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but what the ticket sales would look like in that scenario of the opt-in, opt-out, hey, family of 4 pays whatever it is for this game against Florida here in 2 weeks at 11 a.m.?
Disaster.
Oh.
Disaster.
It's already a struggle, and that would be...
No, it would be beyond a struggle. It would have been a disaster. Because here's the truth, and someone said it in the thread just then. BWL. I don't think it's a reflection on Matt Luke, because I think that the damage was done before Matt Luke was the head coach. But the program hasn't had real life since the Sugar Bowl. I mean, if we're just being real.
No, I mean, not at all. I get it.
It had a moment here and a moment there. But the program hasn't.
Not really.
Yeah, but nothing.
I mean, you can say the 16 preseason. But, I mean, same thing, really. But, I mean, Chad's back. They've got a national primetime game against Florida State. They're beating the crap out of them at halftime. I mean,
But the NCAA hammer was hanging over you at that point. So you knew that whatever you did was on borrowed time.
I'll go second NOA. Because the first NOA wasn't bad. See, we spent most of that offseason with only the first NOA. So if we only got the first NOA, because let's be honest, I mean, you wrote it.
There wasn't much in it.
No, I mean, again, give Freeze, I guess, credit for kind of wool over the eyes, if you will. I mean, we wrote the story Sugar Bowl week about, hey, recruiting's going this certain way and everything can be this, and you're kind of a niche program in a good way. And it felt like it was sustainable. It felt like there's a way for them to be maybe not an 11-win program every year, and you knew that Tunzel class was finishing, but you had Shea Patterson that was in the 16 class. I mean, signing day 16 even, that's Greg Little and Shea Patterson in a top 10 recruiting class. They put that group together.
That's true.
So you go, hey, here's the new group. Now they're going to be freshmen, then sophomores, and maybe you got to play to a year a little bit, kind of like Ole Miss baseball, but not to the same extent, and they can at least be this. It was that second NOA that dropped the hammer. We've been downhill ever since. Frankly, to the day Kiffin was hired, if you want to know the truth.
So going back to that, the last positive day really was the night that Shea Patterson won at A&M.
You could. Yeah, now the only problem there is you still had a 16 season that showed a lot of flaws.
Well, you saw that the defense was.
Yeah, the defense was so bad, but I think I think I agree with Sipper Up Card here. I think it's halftime Florida State or either halftime Alabama. I think it's halftime Alabama because you're still beating Alabama, and they go, you know what, Florida State, that kind of sucked, and that was a blip. Yeah. But look, we're about to beat Bama 3 years in a row for God's sake.
They'd already beaten Georgia, or they came back and beat Georgia.
That was the next week.
Okay.
They beat somebody, some just nondescript FCS team or something, and then they were playing Alabama. They had a week in the middle. It was Florida State win, maybe even Vanderbilt or something in there. I don't remember. But then when it was Vanderbilt because they beat the crap out of Ole Miss later in the year. But whomever it was Alabama. And then at halftime Alabama, you went, oh, crap. And almost the thought was they finished this off. God, they're going to look back at that Florida State game and that's going to suck.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
You know what I mean? Because you're going, hey, they hold on to this one and it's whatever, and then the whole deal just goes sideways on you at that point. Because even after the Alabama thing, look, it changed the complexion of the season, but they beat the hell out of Georgia. They beat Memphis fine. I mean, that first half of that 16 season didn't feel like things were off track, at least. But then when you get the second NOA and everything goes to hell and it ends up being
that's fair. It's so hard to keep it all in.
Yeah.
I've said this repeatedly. One of the things that I think would have changed a lot of directions here, other than the obvious, which is the NCAA, if the Freeze personal stuff doesn't happen and he has to coach that 17 season. Obviously, at that point, Matt Luke doesn't happen. I think Matt Luke would have left, frankly. I think a lot of the vitriol and the what-ifs and the anger and stuff would have disappeared because I think they would have come to a point by the end of that season where it was obvious it was time to move on. And there would have been – I hate this word, but I'm going to use it anyway because I don't – there would have been some closure Freeze got fired.
It would have run its course.
That's the better term.
Yeah, the entire tenure just kind of runs its course at that point.
That's the better term. Everybody, because that Vanderbilt game and that Mississippi State game with Freeze, because he never coached another one, get glossed over.
Look,
and I know what I saw that night, and I'm not talking about the football. I know what I saw in Nashville that night in 2016, and I damn sure know what I saw a week later when Mississippi State came here with a very below-average football team. And what I saw was Hugh Freeze's kids. I'm not saying they quit. I'm not saying they tanked. But they didn't care the way that you would want a team to care. And that was a reflection on their leader.
Somebody asked in the thread, how did Freeze talk Matt into saying? I don't think Freeze did.
I think Ross did.
Yeah. Matt turned down Carolina December of
16. Because Ole Miss was playing, it was a Sunday. Ole Miss was playing a basketball game at Virginia Tech.
I was at brunch, and you called me and said, step out.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation about it. It was that day. So, because look.
Here's my opinion. I can say it now because it's over. It's fairly educated, but I will say this. I do not have this confirmed. I have asked. I've never gotten confirmation. I tried. It's my opinion that Luke took the job on Muschamp's staff, and when he talked to Hugh, that conversation did not go well.
Mm-hmm.
And when he talked to Ross, I think Ross told him, we might need an interim coach, and if we do, it's you.
The Lindsey Miller thing doesn't happen. The second NOA doesn't, NOA,
yeah.
It's all running.
Notice of allegations.
Yeah, my NCAA terms are a little shaky. Thank God.
Let's hope they stay shaky. Because I don't know that I can do that again.
Yeah. In hindsight, it was kind of fun, but not really.
No.
If the second one doesn't happen, Freeze is probably fired at the end of 17.
Yes.
Personal life or not, just fired at the end of 17.
Yes. Well, they knew stuff was going on, even though they couldn't prove it.
I guess my argument is Dave Doran's the coach then, because Matt's already gone. Ross loved Doran.
Yeah.
Doran's the coach right now.
But if the second NOA doesn't happen, the program is more attractive.
Well, that's true.
And you might have been able to go a different route.
You didn't have to go completely hiring. You didn't have to hire the other kind of person.
No, because at the end of 17, as you're making the hire in that situation, you're doing that hire with the NCAA hammer looming and so far off the ledge that you know you're going to get hit.
Just
there's no avoiding
the little curve thing with the hook is.
Yeah, you don't know how bad you're going to get gored, but you know that you're going to get gored. So that's, I don't know, that full circle on that. That's where that goes. Is it would be really had Luke Logan made the kick, I think. Had Elijah Moore not committed the penalty, I think things are bad here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was. I would love to have gotten paid through Ole Miss just winning a lot more football games. I mean, because. Look, 14 and 15 and 13 were dang good for business now. I mean,
absolutely.
Our site changed signing day 13 when they suddenly signed the class and get that type of interest in the program.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because of the podcast every day and the ongoing conversations and, frankly, the subjects that we took with it, yeah, the NCAA was really good for the podcast.
The path we took with it.
Right.
We didn't pull the wool over our eyes and go, hey, nothing to see here. We told people, that, I remember that New Year's, I think I was in Chicago, New Year's of 16.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember saying, hey, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And telling people it's going to be bad and it's going to be program altering and people pushing back.
You're talking about year after Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Literally 1 year after. Yeah.
We, when Freeze did the deal at the IPF where he said, glad to see you back or whatnot. And I was like, what are you and he did the Twitter follower thing.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He had unfollowed me and then he followed me. I got the notification. I'm standing there in the IPF. I get the notification that he's following me again. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Dead Soxy is ready for some football as you are. To celebrate the return of one of our favorite pastimes, Dead Soxy is giving you free money linked I need to put up a sticky thread. And I think that's why Michael Roberts sent me a text just then. I need to put up a sticky thread. I'll do that. I'll do it in here in just a minute. And linked in that thread's a $10 shopping credit on deadsoxy.com. Simply click on the link, create an account, and redeem the $10 at checkout. If you have an account already, that's okay. If you've already used your code at an earlier date, that's okay. No worries. All you got to do to beat the system is do this workaround. Create a new account with a new, different email address. Cash in on the offer. It's really that simple. Send an email. Also, you can send an email to Mike, M-I-K-E, at deadsoxy.com. Get your $10 code emailed directly to you. Don't miss out on the free money to stock up on the best dress socks you'll ever put on your feet. And as always, stay Soxy. We're also brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. The College Corner is next to Fleet Feet and in Flowwood. And it's next to Half Shell. In College Corner is next to Fleet Feet, and in Flowwood, it's next to Half Shell. There you go. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi, and through the month of October, mention Rebel Grove at checkout and receive 15% off your entire purchase. You can also use it online. Just put Rebel Grove in the coupon tab at checkout. And we're brought to you by Jupiter Security Systems, based in Madison, Mississippi. Jupiter Security Systems provides your business with a help desk, allowing you to get software at a much cheaper price than you would pay going directly to Microsoft or the different cyber security systems. Jupiter can set up remote monitoring on a computer regardless of the location. So don't spend money on getting your employees new laptops to work remotely. Let Jupiter monitor their home computers and protect your data when you choose to work. No, Jupiter can't see the data, but they do know if malicious applications get installed on your computers, and they can troubleshoot that before it becomes a massive problem. It's very affordable, flat price, no hidden add-ons. For more information, call Eric at 601-519-9583 or email info, I-N-F-O, at jupitersecurity.net or visit jupitersecurity.net. And last thing, Rebel fans, Ole Miss Hoops will be here soon. We can talk about that tomorrow too, because I saw where they are going to put all these preseason tournaments in sort of a bubble in Orlando. I think that's the plan.
Okay. All right.
So looks like they're going to play. Don't know when they're going to play in Oxford. My guess is some point. I think Kermit's going to end up nailing it. Late November, early December. They're going to play the early stuff in the bubble.
He said December 1 would be his over-under. Is that right?
And he would go under. He said he thought they would start November 26th, as soon as the kids left campus. Don't miss 1 minute of that action. You can renew or purchase your 2020-2021 season tickets for Ole Miss men's and women's basketball by visiting OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com.
PWL with an interesting thing here. Worst hire, Freeze hiring Longo or Luke retaining Longo?
Luke retaining Longo, because he did it for the wrong reason. He did it in his heart. It was the right thing, and he knew very quickly that he had done the wrong thing, and it was too late to do anything about it.
Freeze was setting up a scapegoat because he was going to call the offense anyway.
Yeah, Freeze was going to let Longo screw it up, and then Freeze, because this is how he.
Coming off a season where he handed Dan the keys after the Memphis game in 2015, and Ole Miss rolled through the rest of that season offensively. Just beat the hell out of people.
But Dan got the credit. He didn't like that. And Dan got to a point where Dan said, "Man, we're really kind of airing out the closet a little bit today." Dan got to a point where he said, "Look, I'll take the blame,
but you're going to pay me when it works." That's exactly what happened. No, I mean, yeah, that's it.
But
at the end of the year,
when it goes well, I'm going to get the credit too, and I'm going to get the money.
Yeah.
You're going to pay me to do this job. And Hugh didn't want anyone else to get the credit when it went well. And so he hires Longo, and the plan, I believe, and I'm sure Hugh would fight back on this, the plan was, hey, when this goes bad, I'll say, see, I'm the savior. And he'll step in and he'll run it. And what happened was, obviously, he hires Longo, and then he doesn't get to coach with him because of the personal stuff. And Matt Luke, people will never understand. It's the one thing I always will defend Matt Luke for. You and I have talked about this. I think we've talked about this here some. People will never understand how fractured that program was the day that Matt Luke became the interim head coach.
No, that job was really good that year. He did a good job.
A phenomenal job. I'm not talking about coaching and stuff. I'm talking about the human part of that. But he did it, and you could only do this one time, and he knew it. But he did it by saying, hey, we don't know how long we have together. This is not our fault, frankly. We're all victims here. But if we don't have each other's backs, nobody will. Let's just do the best we can. There's no bowl game. You guys had that taken from you. You had to deal with all this drama. You had a lying coach telling everybody out in the world that he lived one way when you guys know exactly that that's not true. Let's do this together. And then he gets the job. And in Matt's eyes, and he's wrong. He was wrong, and he's admitted since that he messed it up. But I understand the rationale completely, 1,000% get it. The rationale was, I told these kids all year about loyalty, about sticking together, about we have each other's backs. And we win this dramatic game in Starkville to go 6-6, take the Egg Bowl and all that stuff, end on a good note, and then I'm going to go firing coaches?
Human element of repairing egos, the whole deal. Matt in 17, Houston in 08.
Say it again.
Houston in 08 after Orgeron. Or Matt in 17. Who did a better job with the human side of coaching in that season?
Two of the best human jobs I've ever seen.
Because give Houston credit.
It's Houston. It's Houston. That team was so beat down.
Well, and not just that, getting them basically criminally back in academically. I mean, it was a train wreck in so many different ways. I mean, you missed some of that because you weren't here in 07. Yeah. I
remember covering that first spring practice of Houston Nuts, and two things stuck out was, man, this team has some talent, and two, this team's, because I just covered a lot of LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I'd covered a lot of Alabama, Auburn. I was covering good teams. I thought this team, their body language is just awful. I remember thinking that in March.
The South Carolina one you can kind of hold against him. The Wake Forest game early, they just didn't know how to win.
Played really hard.
Yeah, they just had no – Kendrick Lewis made a fatal mistake on that final drive, and they didn't know how to win.
Played really hard that day. Just didn't know how to finish it. And then they go to Florida, and for the very first time, they have tangible success. Yeah,
and then they couldn't handle the success the next
they're on the cover of SI.
Because they played well against Bama. They just lost the game 30-24.
No, they actually played really well against Alabama. This is a true story. I'm walking off the – you know the story. You know where I'm going. I was walking off the field, and I said to Chris Vaughn, I said, y'all aren't losing again. Because I looked at their schedule as that game unfolded, and I knew Alabama was a pretty good club. That was Saban's second team. They were on their way to doing things. And I said, y'all aren't losing again. And he looked at me and goes, God, I hope you're right. And then they survived that crazy night in Fayetteville, and then they were off to the races after that. They were dominant in the last month of the season. I mean, I'm a Louisiana boy who grew up watching LSU some, and I don't say never, but you don't often see an LSU team, at least when they're okay, get pummeled at the line of scrimmage.
They were getting hammered at the line of scrimmage the whole night. Something happened with Jevin late in the first half. We thought he might have gotten hurt, and we thought, okay, if he's hurt, is it still a game? But once he came back out early second half and he was healthy, it was over. There was no doubt about that game whatsoever.
Yeah, then
because LSU lost composure. They were picking fights on the kneel downs late in the game.
Yeah, no, LSU got shedded. Basically, woodshedded was the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
in a way that, frankly, I mean, you can understand how they could get so frazzled because LSU wasn't used to getting woodshedded like that at their place, and they got woodshedded that day. I mean, LSU always has had elite athletes and big, strong guys and all that stuff, and that Ole Miss team just destroyed them. And then they destroyed ULM, and then they destroyed Mississippi State, and destroyed Texas Tech, and quite frankly, would have probably beaten anybody at the end.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a
16-team playoff. They legitimately had a shot.
So the answer is Houston. He took a team that at the beginning of the year had no confidence, and at the end of the year thought they could line up and play the Patriots.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of a coaching job.
Yeah.
Where he failed as a coach was Houston did not believe you could recruit elite players to Ole Miss, and so he didn't try.
And he was trying to ride it out. He thought he could sit there and go 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5.
And he could have
coached for 5 or 6 years.
And he could have.
And if he could actually done the 7-5 part.
Had he done that part, he would have. He would have coached for 6, 7, 8 years. But he didn't.
Yeah.
And instead, they lost that Jacksonville State game, and Masoli bailed him out a little bit. And then, it
all started with the Mullen 09 game.
Yeah.
Because the Oklahoma State game was a win, but neither one of those programs wanted to be in the Cotton Bowl that day or at Cowboy Stadium that day.
No.
AT&T Stadium.
You knew it was falling apart. We just didn't. At that point, we had not.
One team had Dex, one team didn't, and that team won 21-7 or whatever it was.
We had not been doing this long enough to feel confident saying that. We had those conversations privately, like, you know what, man, I think next year could go really badly.
You'd love to have had this type of podcast mechanism for like that 2011 season, where like we come in and we go to the Georgia week and it's going.
We'd have drawn huge numbers.
Could have gone live after the Vanderbilt game. We were sitting in the pub having a drink, drawing up plans. I mean, it could have been quite the deal.
Yep, for sure.
Whew. All right. Well, down memory lane a little today, a little bit of everything. Plenty at rebelgrove.com. We got more to you. Kind of giving your outlines on Saturday. Again, we will Thursday night show Saturday, and then tomorrow afternoon, I guess as well, around 1 o'clock or so for tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday.
I can't keep track of days these days.
Yeah, so something like that. Appreciate all the interaction. Good numbers today. Enjoyed speaking with all you guys. Plenty of coverage at rebelgrove.com. More coming as well. A couple things, just Ole Miss side too. I promised I'd point out on the message board later. They had the new academic admissions thing or whatever. I'll talk about that a little on the board. Calvin Harris, number 93 player in his class, signed with Ole Miss from Dubuque, Iowa. While we're talking about Dubuque, he came to Ole Miss with an elbow injury. He pitched for his high school this summer while they were playing in Iowa and had a season. Tommy John surgery, so he's probably lost for the year. It's possible he could come back and hit if you wanted him to do that. Just kind of depends how rehab goes. I mean, you want him to obviously stay motivated, try to get back as quickly as possible. Not a critical blow, in my opinion. You've got Hayden Dunhurst, who's going to be your everyday catcher anyway. So if Calvin can hit, great, and if that works out. But Ole Miss has a pretty loaded team coming back, so it's not the end of the world. But either way, news there from an Ole Miss baseball standpoint. They start fall ball this weekend, I believe. Friday is their first intra-squad. Fans aren't allowed, but they do start on Friday. So anyway, there's your notes, plenty at rebelgrove.com, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.